Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Stroud. I'm here today with our phonics pages. Unfortunately, this is the phonics page from yesterday, so if you already did it, I'm so sorry. This is from Tuesday, April 14th. Today is the 15th, so I'm going to do both phonics pages today, okay? And I will put them up on Dojo. But yesterday, we had spelling changes, S, ES, ED, and ING. Now, this is page 103 from your reader's notebook, okay? Lesson 22. So we're going to read each sentence, choose the missing word from the box, write the word, then reread the complete sentence, okay? We always reread to make sure it makes sense, right? Okay, I'm going to read down the words and I'm also going to explain the definitions to you, make them a little easier to understand as we're putting them in their sentences. And as always, I will help you out with that first one to get you started. So here we go. The first word is hurried. If I'm in a hurry, I'm rushing or I'm going very fast. Okay, the next one is replied. If I reply to you when you ask me a question, I'm giving you an answer. Okay, next one is traveled. When we travel, we move from place to place, right? I can travel from my office here in my house to my kitchen down the hall, right? Next, we have pillows, and we all know what pillows are. We sleep on them every night. Next one's drying. If something is wet, I'm drying it or making it not wet. Then we have pennies, and we should all know what pennies are. They're all worth 1 cent or one. That's money. Next one is memories. It's something that we have from long ago. Like I have a great memory of being in school with all of you. Okay. The next one is paintbrushes. Paintbrushes are what we paint with Mrs. Greco, correct? Finally, there's cities. Cities, we live in the city of Weirton. Cities are inside states. They make up states. And states usually have a lot of cities and several large ones. Next, we have grazed. If you graze throughout the day, that means you eat a little bit here and there. You don't really sit down for a meal. Okay. Animals also graze. So we think of cows out in the field grazing, where they're eating a little bit of grass here and there. Okay. So those are our words for today. Number 1 says April blank to the question with another question. So how would she blank to a question? Is it hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, or grazed? So remember I said if you ask me a question, I am going to reply. So April replied to the question with another question. The ed on the end means it already happened, past tense. Okay? All right, next one. I have such good blank of kindergarten. We're in 3rd grade. We haven't been in kindergarten for a long time. So what would we have of kindergarten? Let's take a look. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, or grazed. I'm going to give you a moment to write that one down. Make sure you're writing it correctly and spelling it correctly. It's up there, okay? I wish I could cross them out for you as always, but I can't. Okay, here we go. Number 3. Most of the big blank in California are on the coast. Now, coast is by the water or the sea, and California is a state. Okay, so what would be big inside a state on the coast? So let's take a look. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, grazed. All right, we're going to go on to number 4. The goats blank on the hillside. What would goats do? Let's see. A goat is an animal, and it's on a hillside. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, grazed. I'm going to give you a moment, boys and girls, and remember, if you're not quite sure, you circle that one or leave it blank on your paper if you're writing on paper, and you can always come back to it, okay? Number 5, 10 blank equal 1 dime. Oh, we got a math question here. Okay, a dime is worth 10. And what is a dime? It's money, right? So let's look for something up here. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, and grazed. Alrighty, number 6. Alexander blanked to school so he wouldn't be late. Okay, so he was late. He was almost going to be late, so I betcha, what was he doing to get to school? Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, grazed. Alrighty, let's go on to the next one. The class blanked to the zoo on a bus. They were on a bus. That gives us a hint. Let's take a look. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, grazed. Okay, you got your answer? Make sure you spelled it correctly. Go on to number 8. Joshua broke a plate as he was blank the dishes. What do we do with dishes? Let's take a look. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, grazed. Alrighty, number 9. Mom set 2 fluffy blank on the bed. Well, it's on the bed, so what belongs on a bed up here? Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, and grazed. And finally, we have the artist had many blank of different sizes. Okay, an artist, just like Mrs. Greco. Let's take a look. Hurried, replied, traveled, pillows, drying, pennies, memories, paintbrushes, cities, and grazed. Alrighty. While you're doing that, I'm going to switch to the next page, page 104. That's our grammar for today. Okay, well, for yesterday, I'm sorry. Okay, and this is making comparisons and adjectives that compare. So an adjective is used to describe a noun, and we know that. It's like the blue pen, or the tall boy, or the pretty girl. Okay, adjectives can also be used to compare 2 or more nouns, which means maybe you have 2 girls, 2 boys, 2 pens. Add the ending er to most adjectives to compare 2 nouns. add EST to compare more than two. So if we have three, we're going to use EST, three or more, right? Okay, so we have to think about how many nouns are being compared. So here we go. If our noun is tall, our comparing to is taller. Like maybe John is taller than Bob. And then we have comparing more than two. Say John may be taller than Bob, but Bill is the tallest. And then we have high. Like I live on a high hilltop, but my girlfriend lives on a higher hilltop. And another friend of ours is highest of all. Then we can have large. I have a large piece of pizza, but my husband's is larger, and my son's is the largest of all. Okay, so that's comparing me to my husband to my son, right? More than two. Okay, here we go. Example, Kim's hair is long. Morgan's hair is longer than Kim's. Jamie's hair is the longest of all. So we're comparing three, so that's why we use longest. When we have one, we use long. When we compare Morgan and Kim, Morgan's hair is longer. So here we go. We have four little ones here. Write the correct form of the adjective in parentheses. So we have parentheses here, and we're going to either put ER, EST, or leave it alone, right? So monarch butterflies are blank than turtles. Okay, we're comparing turtles and monarchs. So we have two. So here we go, comparing two nouns, we're going to add ER. So monarch butterflies are quicker than turtles. Okay, number two, one book showed that the butterfly was bright than the flower it landed on. We are comparing the flower and the butterfly and how bright they were. Okay, so we have two. You guessed it. We're going to say brighter. I'm going to let you guys do these ones on your own. The long section in the book was about migration. Now think about a book. Does it have one section, two sections, or many sections? Think about your reading book. And finally, male monarchs, which is butterfly, are big than female monarchs. Now we're comparing sorry, and female. What are we going to put there? Alrighty, guys, that's your papers for yesterday. And that was Tuesday, April 14th. Alrighty. Have a great day, guys.